All right, let's crack on. The moment I started the video, my dogs are started barking, and my microphone isn't that great, so you'll be hearing them quite often if I don't cut them out of this video, which I won't probably. So good luck hearing me, right? I created this channel to make sure that people who are learning or getting into tech subjects where there are lots of acronyms, lots of gatekeeping words, lots of confusing looking stuff that people actually find intimidating. Quite frankly, I'm in software development for over 10 years now, and I find it intimidating still. Like, you go into a new environment, you go into a new job, there's going to be new acronyms, people are going to be throwing lots of new terms at you, and this is disturbing. This is not comfortable at all. But I'm not going to go more in detail in this subject because I know that we need to talk about something else entirely. So I guess the classic title is like 5 things I wish I knew before I started my tech job, right? This is the classic title, but what I'd like to think about it as 5 things I find important for someone who's getting into tech right now. Not 10 years ago, right now. If I say something like 5 things I wish someone told me before I started my first tech job, then that means I'm referring back to 10 years ago. No, I'm referring today because a lot of stuff changed. And while maybe right now I'm thinking while I'm talking, which doesn't happen a lot. First things first, the field that you're working on is going to be changing quite a lot. But at the beginning of your journey, you don't realize that. Know that things are going to change and expect the experience. Wait for the experience. Experience is going to come as long as you stick to that field. And this is not necessarily just tech. I don't know, you can be a football player. Same thing applies, right? You need to ask questions early in your career. No, every time. You need to be comfortable about asking questions and you need to learn how you need to ask the questions. And it's different with every company, in every environment. Think of it like this: when you are with your family, you're going to ask questions more comfortably in a different way. But if you're at school right now, for example, you're going to ask in a different way. Without making this too complex, what I want to say, each company, each organization have their own culture, right? This is one thing to bear in mind and adapt those cultures if it's not toxic, obviously. When you ask questions, you learn, but also if you care about this, if you care about how people perceive you, then think about asking questions early. That makes you look smart. For me, I don't care. If you ask questions, it means you're curious. I answer. I tried my best to help. If you don't ask questions, it's up to you. I don't think, this person is really dumb, but overall, this is how it works. Let's go to the next item. Next item is reading code and systems. I will say more about systems. It's more important than writing code at the beginning, for sure. I mean, to get into the field, to get to pass the interviews and stuff, you will have to do some sort of coding or some sort of technical test, whatever. So that's different. But at the beginning of your career, especially if you start something, think about that. Reading code is valuable. AI layer is going to add another abstraction. So maybe we won't even look at the source code anymore. We won't have to read code anymore at some point. But right now, reading code is quite valuable, and I think it will stay valuable and relevant for a while. Because when you think about it, a lot of people knew assembly and then compilers came around and then who is doing assembly? Nobody. Once you are proficient with AI and once AI is more proficient with the coding as well, I think it's going to be creating another layer between the code. So that means there's going to be more understanding about the systems rather than code itself, but still relevant. I want to emphasize. So it's quite important. So designing is something else, understanding is something else. If you have both skills, it's amazing, but know that it's not just about, I make this, I make that. Sometimes you just need to maintain what's made already. You need to understand that. You need to understand the processes and systems. And for that, take a lot of notes, ask questions, like I said. Your first job, if big company, small company, startup, whatever, it is going to teach you how companies work. And that lesson probably is more important than a lot of the tech stack that you're going to learn. You can learn about tech stack by yourself. How do companies operate? How office politics go around? How people actually talk about stuff? Okay, I told you they're going to be barking, so I'll bring them. Okay, come here. All right, you want to say something? You want to say something? She was knocking on the door, right? I can't just not let her in. She was knocking on the door. So right now, it's her show. Come on, do you want to say something? No? All right, you'll stay with me. You'll stay with me. Hopefully, you'll learn something as well. You will learn a lot about the company's politics, how people behave, and I assume in most cases you're going to move into a different job and that experience is going to be still relevant, or you have to make it relevant somehow to to keep that experience. Because you know what? I have heard something recently that stuck with me because I've been talking about the experience a lot, and I've heard this and it made my perspective change a little bit. Someone said some people gain experience and some people they just get old. So my advice for you, don't be the ones that get old. I mean, you'll get old, but don't be the ones that only get old. And with that, we're going to talk about soft skills. Soft skills, again, office politics and everything, communication, soft skills. These are really valuable. Don't let the name soft throw you off because soft skills are, I will say, more valuable than hard skills. Hard skills being technical skills and how you develop stuff. You're gonna do that. You're gonna learn and you're gonna do that. Don't worry about that. Worry about how you can communicate with others, how you can actually convince others. There's a lot of elements come into play. Maybe I should do another video just to talk about the soft skills. The person who explains things clearly gets picked for the good projects. Let's say if there is a limited number of seats for an event in the US, let's say, I'm in the UK by the way, in the US, let's say, you might be the one that's been sent to that event because you can understand and explain things clearly to the others. This is valuable. It's a valuable skill. Making things simplified is even more valuable. Okay? It's not about sounding smart. You can understand a lot of stuff, but what you know is literally as much as what you can explain. Everything is related. And number 5 or 6 with the one bonus one at the beginning, be comfortable about researching because everyone around you is also Googling or Binging, because funny story, when I was working in Microsoft, we never said Googling, we said Binging. So this stuck with me. And researching is got much easier and much more trickier with the AI because AI hands you out the information that it can or it wants you to see. You still need to question things that you see, things that you hear, things that you research. Even if you think they are based on facts, still question them. Still have a little question mark behind everything. And think about how you can improve, how you can simplify those processes. Basically the confidence gap is smaller than you think. So with a little bit of success, with a little bit of confidence of knowing that you can research and understand things, you're gonna get so far. Unfortunately, those 5 items are only the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot of more stuff to talk about as well, and we are going to talk about those stuff. It's just not now. This video is way longer. So if you want to support me, if you want to support this channel, and if you want me to share more things, please like, share, subscribe this channel, and write down in comments if you want me to explain anything further or anything else. Just let me know. And I will see you next time.